Elena, welcome. Give her a stand up. Give her a warm welcome.
Thank you so much. Wow. That video got me a little emotional. Whoever made that in my office, they did a good job. Believe it or not, I am a badass, and I'm really tough, and I usually don't cry. And my husband never sees me cry, but every time I get in front of you in speeches, I get a little emotional, so bear with me, okay? Is that fair? Okay. Thank you. I have to remind myself of that sometimes. So as you know, that bull in a china shop, that tornado that I've been living with for the last 19 years is my husband, Grant Cardone. And, you know, I'm emotional because I'll get to that part, but because I have found you, honestly, and now I can continue this next journey in my life with you is what makes me emotional. Because I have found the vehicle through EXP to help me live up to the legacy that I'm trying to fulfill for the next half of my life. I was chopping onions backstage, I swear. I was making myself an omelet, that's what it was. So just a little bit about myself. My name's Elena Cardone. I moved from New Orleans, Louisiana. I went to Los Angeles at 17. I knew no one. Lived a crazy life so far. Got together with Grant Cardone, and from that point, I became a woman that thought she had to do everything on her own and be independent, never depend on a man, do everything by myself. Met someone as amazing as Grant, as difficult as he is, who gave me the opportunity to meet myself and figure out really that my strength and power as a woman and as a person isn't by doing it by myself. It's about collaborating, finding the one that you trust, and building an empire. And in doing that, I have become like more independent, more strong, more powerful. And it was completely the opposite of the way that I thought it had to be. And Grant and I, we were married, which I never wanted to be married. I never really wanted to have kids. I wanted to be an actress in Los Angeles. I was a shooter. I was ranked 10th in California out of females. I wanted to just do my thing alone, but Grant convinced me that wasn't really probably optimal for my life, and I was smart enough to believe him, and I'm glad I did. So in 2008, the economy collapsed. There were some really hard times that we went through, and that's when I had to make a change and look at some of the ways that I was thinking, and decided, someone was talking, numerous people actually were talking about going all in. Well, that was the moment I decided I needed to go all in on us. I needed to go all in on Grant. I needed to bring everything that I had to the table in order for us to survive the dire. You know, he said yesterday he thought he was gonna die. And you don't die on my watch. Like, that does not happen. So, I will die fighting for not only my family, but for you, and that is the truth. Thank you. I know who I am now. I'm very strong in that. But I wasn't always. And, you know, at that moment when I decided to go all in, it was because I had this vision. I've always been a visionary. I've been an artist and an actress, so I've always been this creative type. I've always been persecuted for my visions. You know, when the teachers want you to sit still, but all you want to do is just like go and charge the world because you're young and free and bold enough to think that you can, but then they try to stop you and say, sit still and pay attention and do what you're supposed to do, which is not what I wanted to do. I want to go build empires and create impact. Like, let me alone. But getting back on track here, 2008, I had to confront that and had this vision of this empire. And what if we could create this vision? What if we could go where we wanted to go? And we were, like I said, on the verge of losing it all. And I would make Grant play because he was so scared. You know, yesterday when he said he went white watching Lehman collapse. And I was terrified because here's, Grant Cardone, I'm 10X. Well, actually 10X wasn't born back then, but he's always had that attitude. And so when he went scared, I got scared. And that's when I got strong. And I was like, no, there's no dying on my watch. And I sent him down to the room and I said, you go figure it out. And then I had to get creative. I was like, how do I not feel sorry for a man who's about to lose everything or who is terrified? And how do I get him into the mindset where I need him to be to go where we want to go? And so I played this game called the Lotto game. And I said, what would you do if you had the first number that we started out with was 200 million, which was way out of our league. Like, it was never going to happen. But I said, what would you do if you had $200 million? And so he would start playing this game. Every single night we played it for months. I made him play this game until the point where I could get his mind to think big enough to, what would you do if you could have $1 billion? And eventually he got to the point where if you really put yourself in the situation, is if you were a billionaire, like think about it for 1 second. Are you all there? Wouldn't you feel like you could make any phone call that you wanted and anyone would take your call, and if they didn't, you'd be like, sayonara, who cares? Or you could just go create things or talk to people, or you could have visions, or you get ideas about. And then I thought, it finally got him to a place where, why do you need digits in a bank account to be that person? Why can't you just be that person now? So it got him shifted into thinking, well, it doesn't take any amount of effort to think big as it does small, so why not think big? And I started to challenge him along the way, I'll never, and then I do want to tie this back. I'm not worried about all the ladies in the room because I know you're tracking with me, but I do worry about the guys sometimes. I don't want to lose my guy friends, But, just challenging him along the way. Well, I'll tell you just a couple things. So, as a woman that is with a man that's extremely powerful and entrepreneurial, there was a little bit of greed in my part where I would always put these big, huge ideas in front of Grant, like, you need to be a billionaire. At which point he attacked me, when's enough, and you push me so hard, and are you trying to kill me? And, it's easy for you to say you just have these visions. I'm the hammer. I'm the one that has to push and shove. How dare you? And I'm just like, You have one of me too. That's good. But along the way, I challenge him and push him and force him to grow. That's my superpower. See, I'm like the strength. I run behind the scenes operations. I have the visions. I have the easy part, quite frankly. But in that, now we are, we're behind a multi-billion-dollar empire. I'm very proud to say. I'm very unapologetic about that. Thank you. We have 2.4 billion, and I think it's 2.5. We just closed another big deal. 2.5 billion in assets under management. We have almost 10,000 apartment units that we own and operate. We have 15 other businesses. We're doing really well now. And we vowed that in 2008, if we were to ever make it, we would never close the curtain like the rich people do or the wealthy people do. We would help other people just like us, you know. I'm from Louisiana, he's from Louisiana, I never went to college, we weren't supposed to make it, Grant and I, is the point. So we made a vow that if ever we did, we would keep the curtains open and allow anybody else who has a little bit of, hustle in their muscle, a little bit of love in their heart, that wants to elevate to a heightened level of success. We would help you to fast track your way to success by doing what we've done right and by eliminating what we've done wrong, and we've kept our word. Well, now that we have all of these operations up and running and doing what they do, I kind of feel like I have that in spades now. I know how to do those plates, plus I have the infrastructure and the staff now to run those positions that I really don't need to be there for anymore, which brings me now to this part in chapter of my life, which is I know I am tried and true as the woman behind the man. I take immense pride in that. A lot of my females, I've said this before, if any of you have ever heard me in my last speech or so, a lot of the females want me to say I'm the woman beside the man. That's nor here nor there to me. I'm the woman behind the man because I am strong enough to be the woman behind the man, to support her man. To bear the weight of is the definition of support. And I have no shame or humiliation in that. Like, I know. Thank you. Now, as a purely selfish greed kind of a thing, I guess, next chapter to my life, for the last couple of years, I have been looking for something because I, as my own spiritual deposits and what I need in my own life now, I have financial freedom now. I have a brand new G550. I have not one but two Augusta 139 helicopters. They're massive. It's huge. It's incredible. I have anything and everything that I could possibly want, and so do my children. But and those things are very important to have, and I'll tell you briefly why, because those are trophies. Those are our Super Bowl rings. Those are symbols. Every time I look at that, I go, that is all of the things that we have done right. Those are all the sacrifices that we have made that nobody sees. Those are a symbol of all of the opportunities that we have seen that were bad investments, but we had the courage and the strength to walk away from because it was a dangling carrot. As Daniel said, the get-rich-quick scheme kind of a thing. Those are tempting. So those things are very important in the physical universe because they are like rewards. And that's exactly what they are, but that's all they are. They don't give me legacy. They don't fill my spiritual bank. I don't know if any of you here have the same kind of a thing, but I assume that we all do because we're all just trying to help, right? We want to help, be helped. We want to make a difference. So the next part of my life is I was looking for, and this is the secret, and I'm glad Grant isn't here, but I was looking behind his back. I was like, I need to do something. I have to prove to myself that I can be the woman behind thousands and thousands and dare I say millions of people. Like that's what I want to do. That's like my passion now. Like I have to prove this to myself that I can do that for others in order to like die a happy woman. And so I had been looking at like these MLMs. I love MLMs. I love the structure. When someone says in EXP, we're not an MLM, I'm like, but why? I love MLMs, you know? So I'm learning the proper nomenclature. I'm like, I want to recruit. If you look at the definition of recruit, it's a great definition, you know? It's like getting someone in and sold into the mission of the company or the organization. And I'm like, I'm gonna recruit. I'm all in on EXP. But So I I've been looking, and then I'll wrap this up because I don't even know how long I was supposed to speak or not speak. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Kathy, and all these people that trusted me with a microphone. They asked me yesterday, will you speak? I was like, oh, I didn't know I was going to speak. What do I say? So I'll wrap it up. I've been looking for an MLM because I wanted to be the woman behind all these people and help them build their empires. And I went behind, and I'm very good friends with Lauren Rittiger and JR, and they do shop.com and Market America, and I was trying to understand their thing, and I was like, especially when COVID hit, I was like, I have to stand up. I have to be this powerful woman. I have to lead the way for all these people, like, you know. And then it didn't work because you don't, I don't want to sound, you can judge me, fine, I don't care, but I don't want to sound like a snob or whatever, but just trying to understand from my point of view now as to where we've kind of earned our way up to. I can't, as the wife of Grant Cardone, leave or step aside from our multi-billion-dollar organization and then go work under somebody else's organization. Even though my purpose was noble and great, it's, you know, y'all are all talking about stories. It just doesn't fit the story. It wasn't really what I was passionate about, and it's not big enough in the long-term end game. So there was that. There was like Monet, and I'm like, I have a hard time being a woman. Like, I don't do my hair. I had it done today. Like, how am I going to go do hair products and makeup products? That didn't work. And so anyway, now I'm to the point where I wanted to tell y'all. So I'm in the car, and I am. Like, I don't know if y'all have corrections in your family. Grant and I have corrections all the time. He thinks I give more corrections to him, but I promise you he gives me more. But I will correct his story because he said he came to me and said, you know, oh, will you get the realtor license? But that's not how it happened. Let me tell you how it really happened. So how it really happened was I overhear Grant and Glenn we're driving to the airport, and they're having a conversation. And they're jacked up, like Grant's all giddy, like a little kid, and I hear this other, you know, this billionaire, whoever said, the genius, I hear this guy on the phone, and he's all excited, and so they're partnering up, and they're working on this deal with EXP, and man, I want to collaborate, and Glenn's like, well, I don't know how it's going to work because you don't really have your realtor license. Let me think about this, and there I am in the passenger seat. I promise you, 2 months ago, I did not know what EXP Realty was. I had never heard of it. I'm not even kidding. And all of a sudden, I raised my hand, and I'm like, Grant, you want me to be the realtor? I'll do it. You know, I'll do it. You know, because, like, I'm always like, I wrote this book, Build an Empire, How to Have It All. I'm, like, all about you have to be an asset. You have to, like, you know, become an asset to the people, to the community. I'm like, oh yeah, let me show off one more time. I'll become the realtor. I'll help you with this deal. And then Grant mentions it to Glenn and is like, hey, can my wife become the realtor? And Glenn's like, yeah, that'd be great. So that's all I thought I was going to be doing at that point was just getting a license. No. So a couple days later, I start my realtor license, and all of a sudden, I'm on the phone with Lisa Copeland and all these people, and now I find out EXP has a similar model to the MLM, but it is definitely not an MLM. And I'm like, what? Like, this is just like, oh my gosh. And then I hear about this other part with the sales side, and I'm like, I am not touching that part. Like, I am terrified of that side. And plus, I don't really see myself like, you know, hammering signs in front lawns. Like, it's just not my jam, right? But I'm like, okay, but I love this thing. You know, like, I'm learning all the terms. I don't think I'm supposed to say downline, but I love it. So second part is humble, total sarcastic, not humble brag. I passed the real estate exam in 28 days. I became a licensed realtor. I've been with EXP like 2 days or 3 days after I passed my exam, so I'm 45 days in. And I'm very honored, honestly, and very humbled. That part is legit. I'm very humbled to be amongst your presence. I have now confronted that I do want to, in fact, do the sales side. So I'm going to do, I know. And I'm looking forward to that story too. I'm looking forward to being on a stage with you in 2 years and to be able to tell the story of this is exactly what I wanted in the MLM, which is someone who could come in and know nothing and with the right A, B, C can actually make it work. So now I actually have to do that. But I'll be able to have that as my story of like, look, this is what I did. This is exactly. And so I'm going to do both sides because I don't want to just, talk the talk. I want to walk the talk. I never ask anybody to do anything that I won't do myself or I'm not willing to do myself. So if you see me with the sign, I might be doing the sign. But honestly, I'm really grateful that I found this vehicle, that Grant found this vehicle, that Glenn and Debbie have provided this space and this vehicle for someone like me to be able to come in and really live up to the legacy-making opportunity, which is where I'm at in my life. And, Grant and I aren't just interested in us and our team or whatever it's called. We're really here because we truly do want to make a difference for the better for everyone. And we are here to help you in any way that we can and to help grow and put our spotlight on this vehicle and, bring EXP to a heightened level of success. In return, I believe I will receive a heightened level of success by the challenge that I'm about to embark upon. And by giving me the opportunity to fulfill some dreams that I've been having now, which is to be the woman behind the empire builders. So, so many of you have already met, and y'all have given me so much incredible advice, and I took copious amounts of notes yesterday, and I've already gone back to the team with great ideas. So I just want to honestly thank you for welcoming me into the family and and just really acknowledge you and for thinking enough of yourselves to be here, and to thank Brent and Jean and Kathy for putting on such an amazing event and including me. I can't tell you how appreciative I am to be open to another community of like-minded individuals that really want to promote and help each other hit a heightened level of success. Thank you so much.
Let's hear it, Elena Cardone.